In this review, I'm looking at a very classy statue of a classic cat burglar. So let's get started. The Black Cat is not considered one of Spider-Man's premier villains, and she's not part of the Sinister Six, but I still find this character extremely compelling because she's the only one that really brings together criminal and anti-hero and romantic lead all into one. And that's part of the reason that really drew me to this piece. This, of course, is XM Studios' quarter-scale Black Cat statue. Now, like many of you, I had seen preview photos of this piece months and months ago, but when I finally unboxed her, I was still really surprised with the paint application. On her hair, it's painted with this stark white color, which shows up so much better in person. And on her costume, the paint varies from glossy to matte, which was something I really didn't expect. But I think even more surprising is the rough metallic texture on the cat. Now, in this video, I'm going to delve into all these features with a lot more detail. But first, as always, I'm going to begin with some basic information. So this Black Cat statue is the last XM piece that I received in 2017, and it's perhaps the most compact quarter-scale statue in my collection. Now it stands approximately 13.5 inches tall, it's about 16 inches long, and approximately 5.5 inches wide. Now, the design concept here has the Black Cat leaning very comfortably on what I assume is a very expensive monument of a cat. And the scene that's playing out here is that, the Black Cat is probably in a location or room that she shouldn't be in. Now, the statue does come with two display options. The one shown here is my favorite, and it has the Black Cat throwing a kiss towards the diamond that she's just stolen. Now, using the other switch-out accessories, the Black Cat can also be shown playfully biting her glove. Now, there's no danger exhibited here. Clearly, this interpretation is a little softer compared to how the Black Cat was first introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 194. Now, it is this deep connection to unlawfulness that I think this XM Black Cat statue is attempting to tap into. And in regards to the statue's design concept, some may feel that having the Black Cat with a cat monument is a bit rudimentary or obvious. And I can agree with that point to some extent. But I think for me, though, what really caught my attention is how comfortable and relaxed the Black Cat looks in this scene. Here she's in her elements. This is her cat burglar lifestyle, and she's loving it. And what accentuates all of this is her facial expression. So coming up next, let's take a closer look at her portraits. Now, every Black Cat statue needs that femme fatale portrait, and in my opinion, this piece has just that. I think that the vixen I'm up to no good expression was carried off really well on this piece. Now, this XM statue does come with two portraits, and the one that I have displayed here has her sort of pursing her lips or throwing a kiss towards the diamond, and it's almost as if she's having so much fun with the crime that she's just committed. Now, if you look closely at this portrait, you can see that they've added a bit of makeup and blush on her cheeks. Now, this makeup it can be difficult to pick up on camera. What is obvious, though, are the red lips. The brightness of the lipstick, I feel, plays nicely against the darker tones of the statue. And with this soft expression, suddenly her cat burglar lifestyle doesn't seem so evil. Alright, so now let's take a closer look at the second portrait. It has essentially the same painted makeup, but this sculpted portrait is a little more straightforward and tongue-in-cheek. Now, comparing both portraits, I think I prefer the pouting portrait just by a small margin. In my opinion, it shows more expression and has a bit more attitude. And just as a side note, both portraits can in fact be used with both switch-out hands. So if you're familiar with the Black Cat character, you know that she's usually depicted wearing a simple leather-like outfit with white fur on the limbs. And on this statue, you know that simple outfit has been elevated with the paint application varying on different points on her costume. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, you know, this varying painting styles really surprised me. Now, as you can see at the very center of her costume, you know, it's been given a very glossy and fancy finish. And descending off the neckline, arms and legs, is of course the sculpted fur, which is painted a shimmering off-white color. Alright, so this outfit is primarily black and white, but the gold belt buckle gives the outfit a small dose of color. Now this gold stands out nicely, and I kind of wish that more gold elements were added to the belt. And these pouches are not necessarily my favorite feature of the costume. I think I'm much more impressed with the zipper. Now every groove of the zipper has been sculpted, which was a really cool surprise. Okay, so let me quickly show you the rear of the statue. As you can see, the back is exposed, and I assume this was done to add another dimension to the costume. Okay, so the final detail I want to point out about the body is the pose or posture. Now you'll notice here that her torso is leaning straight back, but her legs are inclined at a very graceful angle. And I feel that this pose really keeps with the playful nature of the statue. It's a very chic pose that fits well with the cat monument. Alright, so far in this review, it's been all about the black cat. So coming up next, I'm going to discuss the cat base. So I'll be honest, when I first saw the early concept art for this statue, maybe over a year ago, I wasn't overly excited. You know, that initial artwork just showed the black cat on top of a very big generic cat. But when the statue was finally printed and revealed, that's when I began to really appreciate the concept. That's when I understood that, you know, it's supposed to be the black cat resting on a very valuable cat monument. A cat monument that is decorated with some expensive gems. As you can see here that on the head, the eyes are meant to resemble emeralds. Now on top of each paw are smaller, slightly more translucent emeralds. And they all seem to merge into this green cat base. Now by far the most prominent ornament on this cat is the gold molding. Now as I mentioned earlier in the video, the entire surface of the cat feels like rough, tarnished metal. Alright, so switching back to the gems, the largest jewel on this base is the big diamond mounted on the neck of the cat. And it is in fact the same diamond as the one that Black Cat is holding. Okay, so one of my pet peeves about collectible statues is when the design is not unique to the character. And in my view, that's not the case with this statue. You know, if you were to take a X-Men like Psylocke, or take She-Hulk or the Invisible Woman and put her in this design, it just wouldn't work. You know, this pose and this base is quintessential Black Cat. And I think that's what I appreciate most about this statue. Now, who are the collectors that may also appreciate this statue? Fans of Spider-Man and his rogue gallery of villains may find this piece intriguing, and also those who enjoy femme fatale statues. However, this piece may not be for collectors looking for a dynamic action-posed Black Cat statue. So I know this is obvious, but I have to remind you that, you know, these are my own personal perspectives on this Black Cat statue. And, you know, if you're curious about this piece, I urge you to go research and hear what other collectors are saying about this statue. And on that note, I want to thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Take care.